my name is Candace, aka Picasso Baby, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can create a really fun and easy date night paint and sip right at home. So before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next painting tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and show you everything that we need for this painting, and I've decided to show you a really cute sunset painting. Right now we're in quarantine, so everybody is wishing that they were on vacation and that they could leave the house, but since we can't, we're going to create our own vacation right at home with Bae. So a few things you're going to need. You're going to want to make sure that you have some acrylic paint, a canvas of any size, some different size brushes along with a water cup to put the brushes in, and then just some napkins or a rag to dry the brushes off on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by just simply showing you the background, and again I'm going to be walking you through step by step. So I'm going to grab out my biggest brush, and I want to divide my sun and sky from my water area. So I'm going to take a little bit of yellow. And again, I am working with acrylic paint, but you can work with whatever paint you feel comfortable with. So this line is just dividing my sky and my water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some different areas for each part. So this first layer of my sky, I want it to be yellow. For the second layer, I'm going to mix up red and yellow because I want it to be orange. The third layer, I want it to have a little bit of red in it. And that very top layer is going to be a mixture of blue and also a little bit of purple at the top. So I'm going to wash those colors out of my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start to blend out each layer of the sky. So you just want to go ahead and get your colors laid on there, and then we're going to blend out the colors of the sky. So now that my sky is completely blended out and I have all of my layers of color building up to a sunset, what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get my water filled in. So I'm going to wash all of those colors out of my brush. And for my water, I'm going to be kind of sticking to blue and white. So I'm not mixing the two colors. I'm just going to be picking them up. So wherever you want, you can add a little bit of white to your brush. Like I like to add a little more white towards the top of the water because I want it to be a bit lighter. And also when you're doing the top of the water, make sure you bring it right next to the bottom of the sky, which is the color yellow, because you want it to blend really nicely. You don't want to be able to see any space there. So once you get that top line filled, you can go ahead and start to fill in the rest of your water. Once you have your full background completely covered, the water and the sky, all you want to do now before you can add any other details is you want to give this about 10 to 15 minutes to dry. If you want to dry it faster, you can always grab a blow dryer and just blow dry the canvas. Or again, you can take a little break, let it dry for about 10 or 15 minutes, maybe grab some wine if you're 21 and up, and then come back and we'll add on the next step.
A few moments later.
All right, now that our background is completely dry, we're going to go in and add another layer of details. So now I want to actually add in my sun. This time I'm going for more of like a medium brush. If you have a medium or smaller brush, you want to go ahead and grab that one. And what I'm going to do is I want to create my sun first. Now, normally you would use like yellow for your sun, but because we have yellow here, we're going to have to mix up yellow with a really good amount of white so that it's really, really light and so that it stands out. All I'm doing is a half circle right in the middle of my sky, or wherever you want your sun to be at is completely up to you. I'm doing mine right above the water and in the middle of my sky. And I am going to fill it completely in. And if you feel like yours is not standing out enough, please add more white to your brush. It will help it stand out more. You can even add a little bit of that orange to your brush if you just want to give your sun some extra color. Just make sure you're blending it out. And what I'm going to also do while I still have this color on my brush, I want to create the reflection of the sun. But what I'm going to do for my reflection, I'm going to actually make my reflection more like a heart. So for my reflection, I'm going to make some little marks. Now, normally it would just be like a circle under here, but I'm going to make some marks that shape into an upside down heart. And if it isn't shaped the perfect way, don't worry about that. You'll be able to add more lines into it to kind of fix it up. And what I'm going to do inside of this area, I'm going to make some little waves. So again, like reflections. And you're going to do some waves using every color that's in your sky. So for example, I'm going to add some yellow to my brush now, or some more yellow, and make some waves. And you kind of want to make waves over those little dashes as you're doing this part. And it's really just like really quick squiggly lines, nothing too extravagant. Now I'm going to go in for some orange. So I'm using every color that I put in my sky. I'm going to create those waves in my water. So I did the yellow and white first. Now I'm doing the orange. I'm going to go for some red. And then I'm going to add some blue as well. And although your water is blue, when you pick up the blue on your brush, it should be darker than your water, so it will still stand out, so you don't have anything to worry about. And now that you have that reflection there, we want to go ahead and add some more details. So I'm going to keep using this same brush, and I'm going to spin my plate around so that I can get some black, because I want to use black to create some silhouettes of things. So for example, at the bottom of my water, I want to create like some rocks on both sides. So I'm doing like a wavy line here, I'm going to do a bigger one on this side. And then I'm going to fill that area in. Same thing here. Filling this area in. And I'm going to use these as bases for my palm trees or anything that you want to add actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to add palm trees on top of this now, and then you'll be able to add as many or as few as you want. So what you want to do is from whichever rock you want to start with, I'm going to pull a line kind of going up and curving over. And I want the line to be thinner at the top. So even if you have to go back and fill it in, make sure it stays thinner at the top, and you can make the trunk of that line, so the trunk of your tree, a bit wider. And from there, you're going to add on some leaves. I like to do about 5 on each palm tree, but you can do as many or as few as you like. And then to create the palm look, from each line, I'm going to pull some really quick little lines down. So underneath each of the lines I made first, I'm pulling down some little lines. So once you start that, you can go ahead and create as many or as few palm trees as you want. Alright, so now that I have as many palm trees as I want, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with an even smaller brush, and I'm going to add some extra details. So now I want to add in some highlights so that my palm trees stand out a little more. So I'm just using a little bit of white on my brush, and for example, on the rocks, you can follow the shape of your rock to create some more detail to help it stand out more. You can add little lines on the actual palm trees. Wherever you add a line at, just make sure you're following the shape or the curve that's already there. So for example, I'm adding a few little white lines on some of my palm leaves, and I'm making sure to curve those white lines right on top of the palm leaves, and that they're following the same direction as the black paint. And you don't have to do these everywhere, just in a few places where you want it to stand out more. For example, some of my trees are up inside of the darker area of my sky. So I'm going to add a little bit up there to help it stand out more. And you don't have to wait on your black paint to dry to do this part. It's actually better if you do it while it's wet. That way it kind of blends in, and some parts will be a little more gray. Some parts will stand out with that pop of white. And again, you can add in as many or as few of these lines as you like. And what I'm going to also do, and I'm not going to wash my brush off, I'm just wiping it on the paper towel. I'm going to go back into my black, and I'm going to kind of create some little birds. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a little dot. And from that dot, I'm going to curve a quick line over, quick line to the other side. You can do as many or as few of these little birds if you want, as you want. I'm going to do one even down here landing on the water. It's completely up to you where you put them at. I'm going to add one more over here. All right. Now that you're at this point, if there is anything else that you want to add, anything extra, you definitely can add whatever you like. But if there's nothing else that you want to add, the very last thing you want to make sure to do before you're done is you want to sign your painting. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white and yellow on my brush, and I'm going to sign in one of my corners. If you want, you can let the background of this painting completely dry and you can sign it with a marker. You can sign the back of the painting. How you sign it is up to you. But once you're finished, just make sure that you sign your painting. So now that our paintings are complete, you can find a cute spot to hang them. You can let them dry for the rest of the evening while you finish your date night with Bae. And don't forget that you can get all of these supplies at any arts and crafts store, or if you would like a pre-made kit that comes with everything that you need, head over to paintpartydet.com to grab your kit today. Thanks for painting with me, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.